Drink all day and party all night. That's how I like to live my life.
I think guys at uni have one agenda.
Yeah. I like to do all the lad things.
I like women, girls, I like choices.
My experience of sex education is nothing, basically.
Consent has never really come up in school.
After we got back to his house, he became an entirely different person.
It can be absolutely anybody who does it.
Do you think guys do know where the line is?
No.
So most people, if you ask them what rape is, would give you an answer straight away, right? It seems like the lines are really clearly drawn. So why are so many students finding themselves in situations that they consider to be grey areas and that they can't really define? I think something has gone seriously wrong with the way that we're talking about this stuff. In her very first week at university, Lucy was raped by a fellow student.
It's hard to use words like sexual assault and rape. They seem very big, loaded terms, and it's hard to identify with them. There seems no clear-cut line. The person who did this to me would definitely not have seen it as a rape. I think they had very skewed understandings of what's appropriate and what's not. I think he blamed me. He blamed me for giving the wrong signals, for seeming to promise something that then I wasn't going to deliver on. And had he been slightly re-educated, he might have been a bit more careful.
My experience of sex education is nothing, basically.
It was mainly just from what my friends, what we kind of learned growing up, rather than anything that anyone had taught me.
Really, really vague and generally quite medical, quite biological. So not really talking about the emotional side.
I didn't have much teaching in school, and what I did have was quite narrow.
Freshers' events like these are sold on the promise of a good time, but some have been criticised for the way they use sex as promotion. The National Union of Students has pinpointed so-called lad culture as key to understanding the problems of rape and assault on campus. But what is it about these young men that's got people so worried? Do people ever call you lads?
If someone called me a lad, I'll take it insulting.
Would you consider yourself a lad?
Yes, a big lad. I like to do all the lad things.
What are all the lad things?
I like to sleep with as many women, but I don't do very well at it.
What kind of guys have you encountered at uni? Are they all nice or...?
I think guys at uni have one agenda. Yeah.
Did you ever feel like anything went too far?
There's grabbing bums and things, and it depends what sort of girl. If you're quite happy for someone to grab your bum, it's fine.
What's your technique for pulling women?
I'm a pretty shy guy, so the only technique I have is get as pissed as I can and see what happens.
There's some people, some students, that do push it too far.
Like how?
They just don't say no for an answer.
What kind of girls do you like?
I like women, girls. I'm happy that God created women.
Fucking rape the pussy!
When you're with a group of guys, you form these cultures which aren't necessarily based on your true values, but these perceived norms that, you have to make fun of women, you have to sleep with a lot of people, you need to be like the biggest lad to be cool. And actually, I think that's maybe partly because we don't talk about it.
Have you had friends who've been in dodgy situations where they've gone back with a guy and there's been maybe weird stuff happen?
From my friends, say they've gone home with someone and then sobered up a bit and thought no, and then the force were no, you've made me come back because I'm going on a night out, you're not leaving now. That kind of thing to me is way too far.
It can be absolutely anybody who does it.
Do you think guys do know where the line is?
No.
When you say to a bunch of guys, 18 to 25-year-old guys, 1 in 7 of your female peers is seriously sexually assaulted while they're at university. You look around, every single one of those guys has 7 female friends. So that's a very, very powerful moment to say, hey guys, the world that we live in is maybe not exactly how we experience it, or what we see.
Do you chat to your mates? Like, do they give you advice about girls?
No, we just insult each other.
What's quite interesting is that you never talk to your friends about this stuff, and you're just telling me it all. Do you wish you could talk to your friends about it?
I would like to, yeah. I would like to talk to people about it, but I just know they won't take me seriously.
I don't think lad culture can simply be defined as a clear-cut group of predatory men. This doesn't mean there aren't issues with sexism that need addressing, but it's risky to point the finger at one group and claim we found the problem, particularly when it shuts them out of a conversation they need to be part of. A lot of people now are linking so-called lad culture to serious instances of rape and sexual assault. Do you see that link?
It can be dangerous to link sexual assault exclusively with this lad culture because that's suggesting to women that they'll know this demonised person when they see them. Often it's not that obvious. In my case, this is somebody who I seem to have a lot in common with. They seemed gentle, kind, quiet, unassuming, all of that, yet still emotionally manipulated me into doing something I didn't want to do. It can be dangerous to publicise lad culture as the danger because it blinds people to other dangers that might not be as obvious.
Sex and relationship education is still not mandatory in school curriculums.
I've never been taught about consent.
We didn't talk about consent.
Consent has never really come up in school.
There's overwhelming international evidence that comprehensive teaching makes young people safer, and yet still the government is failing to act.
The young people we met in the course of the inquiry were scathing about the sex education they received at school.
Assume they don't know anything. I think that's much more helpful than assuming, well, oh, you're 18, you probably had the birds and the bees talk. And even then, you know, if they had that talk, what was being said?
When we're not teaching what consent means, why are we surprised that non-consensual sex happens so often?
So why does our group become sexist, despite none of its members being sexist? In the competition to get respect from our mates, we actually do the one thing that none of our mates respect.